morning, everybody. Welcome to Loch Briar Knits, knitting podcast. I'm Kelly, your hostess, and this is episode 100. What? 100! I can't believe it. I can't even remember how long ago I started this podcast. I think it was 2017. So that's crazy. So thank you so much to everybody who's been with me all along, or even for part of the journey. If we have any new subscribers or viewers, thanks so much for checking us out. Actually, I will preface this by saying I have been away for a month, which is pretty unusual. I'm usually an every 2-week kind of girl, but there were a few reasons for that. I got my second dose on the Friday, and normally I would have podcasted the next day, but the second dose of the vaccine totally wiped me out for about 3 days. That was it. I was out. I napped, people. I never nap. Not a napper. That took me out for that weekend. And then the next weekend was the July 1st weekend, and we went down to the summer house, and we decided just to kind of take it easy. And I said, that's fine. I'll pick it up on what would normally be my podcasting weekend for the next one, which is today. That's why. But in the meantime, over the past few months, I have been wanting to sort of refresh the podcast, and I've been kicking around some new ideas. I've decided that I'm going to try to do this as a weekly podcast. So the podcast may be, each episode, I'm probably going to aim for about 35 minutes in length, and then do it every week. But I think I may change my upload date. So I may do it so I podcast maybe earlier in the week, and then do the editing and have it ready to go live on the Friday. I think doing it weekly will allow me to kind of introduce some content that I don't always feel I have time in when I'm doing it bi-weekly, and I'm trying to get through, here's what I'm working on, here's what I finished, here's what's languishing. So I thought that would give me a really good opportunity to kind of add in a couple of elements that I've been wanting to do, and maybe go a little more in depth with things, as opposed to just feeling like I didn't have time to talk about them, or I was just kind of skimming the surface. So that's what the plan is. You'll notice if you're into thumbnails and things like that, the thumbnail's going to change a little bit. I just felt like just refreshing things. I've been doing this for 100 episodes. So I thought now was a good time. And it has kind of evolved over the years. When I first started, I was the way a lot of new podcasters, when they're doing a knitting podcast, kind of start out, where you've got show notes, and you're like, okay, here's this section, here's that section, now we're on to this section. So it was a little more regimented. And then kind of as time went on, it became a little less regimented, to the point where we are today, where it's just kind of a little loosey-goosey. I mean, we still have the different things. I show you the whips, the faux, and all of that stuff. But it's not necessarily in such a regimented order. It's a little more scattered, if you will. Which I actually enjoy more, because then it feels a little more like a conversation. So that's kind of the plan going forward. That being said, I have a virtual plethora of faux. I got, because of course I had a month, I was getting really agitated about the languishing whips that I had. So I decided, in the time between now, or then, and now, I was going to make a concerted effort to finish things. So as you may notice, I have finished my Ranunculus. I was a little concerned I made it too small, but as you will see, I did not. It is about the length that I wanted it. I think actually originally I was aiming to have it down to here, but then I thought, if I'm wearing kind of a flowy dress like this one, if I have it down to here, it might end up kind of like bunching up the flowy part. where it starts to kind of go out. So I thought shorter would actually work better. And then for the arms, I didn't really follow the pattern for how she has you end the arms. And I literally just did like a little 1x1 twisted rib for, I don't know, half an inch maybe. And then just had it go to the elbow. And I was originally thinking about doing it to here, but I thought where it's summer and I'm probably going to be wearing it in the summer, obviously, I would like it maybe better to just go to there. Yeah, so I really do like the details and the neck. I did the up close neck. So this was made out of sheep soft yarn, and this is their Grassington cactus colorway, and I'm going to show you. I had 3 skeins, so that was good. I had 3 skeins of it, but on the second skein, I did not break in, so I have a full skein left, wound up. This is what was left of the second skein. I was playing a wee bit of yarn chicken because I really didn't want to break into the third skein if I didn't have to. So I am glad I did go shorter on the, what are these things called? Sleeves. Because had I, then I probably would have had to have delved into the new skein. And this way I know I have like an absolute full skein left. Did I even say that this was the Ranunculus? So this is the Ranunculus, in case I didn't mention that. This is sort of the one I did, but as you can see, mine is nowhere near this loose and my sleeves are shorter. I went down 2 needle size. I think the recommended needle size is 6 and I went down to a 5 because I just didn't want this to be too gauzy. Although then as I was knitting it and it was actually smaller than I thought it was going to be, I thought I may have shot myself in the foot on that one, but I didn't. So it turned out really good. I really do like this. And I managed to only use 2 skeins. And the skeins were, so there's the sheep soft. And these were 50 gram balls and they were 295 meters. So this took 500 and, oh God, I got to do math, 590 meters, maybe 589 because there may be like a meter-ish left there. So this is 100% Mashman Blueface Leicester and it's a 4-ply light fingering weight. And the recommended needle size for this yarn on the ball band says 2.5 to 3.5. But again, I didn't want it to be too like overly drapey or like gauzy, like holy. So I am glad that I did go down the needle size that I did. I'm also really glad that it still fit. That is finished object number 1. Finished object number 2, which is in this one that was in my loop bag, which oh no, I did get most of the dog hair off. This is my loop bag that I kept that in. And this is my Jenna Rose bag, which I did not get all the dog hair off of. This was the loose sock pattern by Casual Fashion Queen. Ba-da-doo, ba-doo-doo. I'm going to put these on the sock blockers because they show off a little better on the sock blocker. It's totally the wrong size. La 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 la. Da, 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 da. There you go. These show the slouchiness a little better than just kind of hanging them up. As you can see, I did the leg a little shorter than what was called for, and I believe when in the pattern by, I think it's Sheila McNeely by Casual Fashion Queen. I'll try to remember to link that in the note. She uses 2 balls of yarn. So like, or 2 skeins of fingering weight yarn. I used 1 and I still this much left over, which is good because I can put this in with my, my scrap bits. So, but I did not do my leg as long as I think she did, but I'm still getting a serious amount of slouch to it. And I'm short. I'm 5'2", so it's not like I have super long legs. And if I wanted to as well, I can even cuff them, which actually I really like that. This is knit out of my own hand-dyed yarn, Loch Briar Knits, and this is in the September Morn colorway on my Gush base, which is 80/20 superwash merino and cashmere. So these are like super soft, super cozy, and I cannot wait to wear them, but it's stinking hot today. I'm down in the basement because that's where my knitting room is. That's how I can get away with wearing this today. I did like the eye partridge heel as I usually do. I love this yarn colorway. It's one of my favorites. It's one of my fall colorways that I do every year. So if anybody is interested, it will be in the shop probably late August. So that's done. Those took a little longer because obviously you're doing a longer leg, but I have to say I really enjoyed. I enjoyed it. There was one part where I'm like, if this was a regular pair of socks, I would be done by now. But I do really like making these and only having like a wee bit of yarn left over that I can put my scrap pile instead of like half a ball of yarn. I think what I am going to do is make another pair. I have had this. Oh, good Lord. That is one messy ball. This is, I don't even know. Oh, this is Evie Knits. And this is her cash sock, which is her cashmere superwash merino base. And this is her Ocean Mist colorway. So I have had this for a while, but I love the colors. So that's going to be my next pair. Now what I did for mine is I followed the pattern for the leg bit, and then once I get to the leg bit, I then switched over to just what I do for my normal vanilla sock pattern. And I ended up doing like my eye partridge. I did the decreases the way I like them because that heel and foot fit me perfect. So I didn't want to mess with that, especially where they were slouchy, because I didn't want them kind of like falling off my foot. I did go up a needle size from what I normally use, and I started these off on my, I don't know if I still have them in here. Do I still have them in here? No, I don't. My Addi Turbos, which I like Addi Turbos, but I don't like knitting magic loop with them. Just because I find the joins of all of the knitting needles I have used, Chiagu have the absolute best joins. They're seamless. Nothing gets hitched on them. And I found with my Addi Turbos, I was constantly like kind of like struggling pulling it over the join, like it kept getting stuck on it and it was getting really annoying. But I didn't have the size I needed in like just a I had it in my interchangeables, but I was using all of the cord lengths that I needed for magic loop were kind of being used. And so I thought I'm just going to go ahead and buy a non-interchangeable. What's the name? What's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Anyway, so I bought that, and normally I do a size 0 for my regular socks, but for these I went up to a size 1, which I think is 2.25 as opposed to 2 millimeter, I think. I may cast this on today. We'll see. So that's finished object number 2. And then, is that it? Oh my God, no. Now, I do not have the ends woven in. I have my half and half wrap done. So I'm going to have to back this like way up. Like I said, the ends are not woven in. It's massive, people. It's like, it's massive. Can you see it? I can't see if you can see it. But I showed it to my husband and he laughed at me because he was like, that's a nice blanket. And he's not wrong. He is not wrong. Wait, I'm doing this wrong. Okay. So depending on which side I wanted on top, I guess. So you can see the stripe. Okay. So this is a behemoth. There's just really, honestly. Ooh. So This is huge. It's just massive. I'm not really sure how much wear this is going to get, but I will say when you put it on, it's like, it's so cozy. It's so cozy. So this is if I were to wear the gray side out. It is extremely cozy. Okay, I don't know if I got that back in the right place, but I am done except for the ends that need to be woven in. Now, some of them, I think it's just on the red half, which was the second half that I did, where the ends need to get woven in. So here's one thing that I did when I did the last, I did the German short row. So when I did the last pickup of the last German short row stitch and then knit to the end, I was like, there, I'm done. And so I just broke the yarn. And then I'm like, wait a second, I still have stitches on the needles. I realized I broke the yarn before I had to bind off. Like, I didn't bind off yet. I don't know what I think I was so happy to finally be at the end, because at that point it had started to become a bit of a slog, where I just wanted it to get done. Like, the one thing I liked about doing the first side is that the rows kept getting shorter and shorter, whereas on the second half, every time you knit a row, it gets longer. So you have more stitches and more stitches to knit. So by the time I get to the end of this, I was really ready to be done. So I just broke the yarn and I was done, and then realized, no, you idiot. You still have to go back and bind off your stitches. So I had to reattach the yarn and then do the bind off row. So I don't know what I was thinking. just so happy to have it done. So that is finished object number 3. So that's the last finished object. And I don't remember the last time I had that many finished objects done in one podcast before. And they were all kind of like languishing, or I was ready to have it done and move on, because I am so antsy to get new things on the needles. So speaking of, this is my almost finished almost finished object. My almost finished finished object. The Sew Away Chevron sweater by Marie Green, Olive Knits. You will notice we now have 2 sweaters. No, 2 sleeves. Well, we do have 2 sweaters. All I have left to do now, other than like weave in my end bit there, is pick up the stitches for the neck and then knit, which I'm trying to think. I believe the neck is done in the same ribbing as this. So as the hem band words. Anyway, so that is all I have left to do for this. So that is going to kind of get first priority for projects getting done. I have 1 skein left. I don't think that is going to be enough to do the neckband, because I do want to bring it up so that it's kind of like here, and right now I feel like it's like way down here. So I don't think that's going to be enough. So rather than do that, I'm probably just going to break into this, because I just don't want, it's like one less end to weave in. So this is Wool of the Andes in their Amber Heather colorway. So that was a good call on the number of skeins I needed. So that's going to get priority so that I can get this done. And I really think, because I'm actually too lazy, take the other sweater off. So yeah, so this goes right down to my hip bones. I'm hoping it doesn't, well, actually it goes past my hip bones. My hip bones are like right there, but this is okay. This is a fine length. I'm fine with that. The sleeves, the sleeves are a little long, but that's okay, because I usually like them a little longer. They're also looser than what I normally have, which isn't a big deal, but you can see how I want to bring this up to about, I'm going to say here-ish. I do like this neck, but I'm okay if this comes to like maybe about here. So yeah, I would say it's a little big for me, but I'm okay with that because depending on how much it stretches out. I was kind of playing around with the yarn because I couldn't get gauge with the yarn I was using and the needle that I used. But I didn't want to go down a needle size because I think that would have made the stitch tighter, which would have made the sweater kind of more stiff. I think I went down a needle size, but up a sweater size. No, yeah, because I did the third size and normally I would do like the second size. I knew it probably wasn't going to be a perfect fit, but at the same time, it's going to be a nice cozy sweater. Or like if I want to go out in late fall or early winter and not wear a coat, I can just like kind of put this and my half and half wrap on. It won't match, but I will be warm enough. So that is going to get some major love. I think the reason I've been putting that off is because I hate picking up stitches. I'm not good at it. And then if I get like halfway around and you can kind of see these gaping holes where there shouldn't be, it's annoying. Yeah, so, but I do want to get that done and off the needles. And that's everything. No, it's not everything. It's not everything. Actually, it's not everything. The other thing is Birch Bark Canoe shawl, and that's by Tudwick Studios. I'm reading that without my glasses. And I'm knitting this with Hypothesis yarn, which I ordered some more of her yarn. She had her Walden base in her fingering weight yarn. I absolutely love it. It's like this really rich, sumptuous brown. I've been wanting to get it for about a year now, but anytime I went to get it, it was sold out. So this is my, this was her, I'm totally, Reconciliation? Yes, Reconciliation, and this was her charity yarn with the proceeds going to the Legacy of Hope. I didn't get a whole lot done on this because I was kind of concentrating on getting finished objects that have been languishing, or half-finished objects or works in progress. Words. So I really didn't get a whole lot done on this, but I love the colors. Oh, I blew it out. There we go. That's pretty true to color. This is going to be like a one skein shawl, so it's probably going to be more like, it's going to be like a shawlette size. But yeah, so that's the other thing that's been on my needles. And I've just been kind of slowly picking away at that. If I have a few minutes or if I just need a break maybe from something I've been working on, like trying to finish. That's everything, people. That was a good haul of finished objects. I am so happy to get stuff off the needles. I can't tell you. But that means I have room to put a lot more stuff on needles. That's going, I think, to be what next week's episode is going to be about, is trying to decide what I want to do next, because I have a ton of projects that I want to start, but I don't want to get in the situation where I have too much stuff on the needles and then I start to get agitated by all these unfinished projects. I like to finish stuff, and I like to have finished stuff to wear. So I find when I have things languishing on the needles for too long, I get agitated because I'm just like, I just want it off the needles. And then I also want to start something new, but I don't want to start something new until I can clear some stuff off the needle. So there you go. But the other thing I really want to concentrate on doing for the second half of the year is using up my stash. And that's not to say I'm not going to buy more stash, because I've already done that. But I want to kind of make a concerted effort with what I have like what I cast on next to be what I have existing in my stash now. So if I buy anything new, it's gonna have to wait until next year. That's gonna be my incentive to get stuff done. So like all of this, you know, like this is full, this is full, this is full, this is full, this is full. And then of course, you know, these, this, that's all sock yarn. So there's a lot of yarn to get used up. There's also this. And there's another basket down there. It's a little ridiculous. I think too, what I am gonna do is I'm going to go through and say, okay, realistically, what are you going to use and what are you not going to use? Like sometimes, you know how you'll buy yarn and you're like, oh, it's really like, I love this yarn and blah, blah, blah. And then it gets stuck in your stash and you didn't really have a plan for it when you bought it, or the plan you had isn't something that you're interested in doing anymore. And you're looking at the yarn saying, you know, is it the right color for me, or am I realistically going to use it? So I'm kind of going through my stash and doing that as well. So if any of you are interested in destash, buying destash, there's going to be some destash in my Ravelry group, not in the Ravelry group, but on my Ravelry user page, I guess it would be, which is Loch Briar, and I'll have all the links down below. I have some stuff in there now, and I'm going to gradually be adding stuff. So keep an eye out for that if you're interested. A lot of what's going to go up, I think, is probably going to be sweater quantity, because realistically, I have enough sweater yarn here to keep me busy probably for a decade. So I really need to stop and think, like, am I going to use that realistically? Or is it a color that even fits my palette anymore? Because one thing I have noticed is now that I've let the gray grow out in my hair, which it's pretty much all in now, the colored part, there's like this much left. But one thing I have noticed is that with the gray hair, the color tones, some of the color tones that I would have maybe worn look a little too washed out, or they don't work with the skin tone gray hair mix. So if that's the case, then realistically, I'm going to have to say, you know what? Somebody else is going to have to knit this. So I think that's what I'm going to do. And they're going to be pretty reasonably priced. I think I just sent off some of the Elizabeth DeVold yarn that I had. It was the silk. It's in the gold color. And I basically destashed that for $5 a skein plus shipping. And I have a feeling it's probably the destash prices plus the shipping. The destash prices are going to be pretty low, because mostly I just need... I need to be reasonable. I need to make some room. And I think the quickest way for me to probably do that and to get rid of the stash and give it a new home is to just price it fire sale price. So keep an eye out for that. Probably that's going to be over the next month as I go through this, because I am giving this room a revamp. Now that I'm past my 2-week point mark for my second dose, I'm feeling more comfortable going out in the world. So I'm going to take a little jaunt to IKEA and get some pieces of furniture. My stepson is moving out and going to university. He's got his own apartment. So he moves into that September 1st. So we're repainting and recarpeting his bedroom. And I'm going to make that into a little bit of an office for me. Well, for both of us, really, because I feel like This is really good for my knitting room, but if I want to go somewhere and work at a desk, if I'm doing writing or anything like that, then I don't really have a place for that. So I need like a small desk. I need a decent desk chair. I need, I'm probably gonna need one of these, but maybe the smaller version. This one goes 4 across, like 4 of these sections across and 4 high. I may get one that just goes 3 across and 4 high, if I think they have that. But I also want to get like a dresser unit here so I can stash my bare yarn and my supplies in that, just because I find everything just feels so scattered and messy in here and it's driving me crazy. So there's going to be a huge purge of the entire household, but the one that you guys may possibly benefit from if you're interested is the yarn stash, de-stash. I am going to sign off here. I will see you in a week's time. And at that point, I am hoping to have at least narrowed down what I'm going to cast on next. I may even have casted it on, but I'll still have some other ideas that I'm going to be kicking around. I'll get your opinion on it. So one thing I do want to note, if you guys want, if there's any kind of content that you want to see, you want to hear, whether it's knitting related, day in the life related, writing related, any questions you have, drop it down in the comments below and let me know your thoughts about kind of the refresh and everything. And if there's anything that that I'm not doing that you'd like to see, that maybe, you know, I am open to all kinds of ideas. Drop a message, drop a note down below, just to get some engagement going, see what you guys want to see, and all of that good stuff. So for now, I'm going to sign off. So thanks so much for showing up, and click the thumbs up if you liked the episode, and don't forget to subscribe so that you can get notified of future episodes, and I will see you guys in a week. Bye.